Hello and a warm welcome to World Stories. I'm Sumi Somaskanda with your International Reporters magazine. Thanks for joining us. On this week's edition, we'll introduce you to an inspiring female journalist who's breaking barriers in Liberia. We learn about growing health concerns in Qatar. And we raise our pom-poms to Bulgaria's sprightly golden girls. All that and more. But first, we start with a report from Brazil, where a strong entrepreneurial spirit has helped bolster economic growth in recent years. Rather than taking on the risk and responsibility of starting a new company completely from scratch, many Brazilians are opting for another business plan, franchising. In fact, it's now become one of the country's most successful models. And as Simona Pio for Rede Minas TV shows us, it works for products and services, everything from Middle Eastern fast food to car rentals.
Habib's took on large multinational companies to win a place for itself among Brazil's fast food franchises. The business concept was a bold one: to serve inexpensive, quickly prepared Middle Eastern cuisine to Latin Americans. The first franchise opened in 1992. The initial goal was 50 locations. That's since expanded to 410.
The company still owns about 40% of the restaurants. The other 60% are franchises.
Brazil's very business-friendly legislation encourages entrepreneurs to keep expanding their businesses. Some 97% of the country's franchise operations are of Brazilian origin.
A franquia brasileira, ela é muito profissionalizada.
Franchising in Brazil is very professional, and it suits our Brazilian DNA just wonderfully. Our tropical character and our economic, social, and enterprising qualities.
The car rental company Localiza has over 500 branches in 9 countries with a total fleet of around 100,000 vehicles. That puts the company among the world's 6 biggest car rental companies. It's been active abroad longer than any other Brazilian company.
We opened the first international branch in Argentina, followed by Uruguay and Paraguay. In 1992-93, we set out to conquer the Mercosur, the southern common market.
Dust and disorder, a lot of financial investment, and the difficulty of finding well-trained workers. That's the climate that makes the mini-franchise business model so attractive. It's shown amazing growth the past few years. You can start a mini franchise for just 16,000 euros. A good 17% of Brazilian companies are mini franchise operations. These small businesses are mainly active in the service sector. Doutor Resolve is a franchise company specializing in remodeling and repairs. According to the Brazilian Franchising Association, in 2011, this company set up more franchises than any other firm in Brazil, a total of 302. One such location is near the city of Belo Horizonte. It's managed by Drila de Freitas, a young public relations student. I'm curious, how old are you?
21.
And why did you decide to join this company?
We always wanted to run our own business, to take on the responsibility. So my father and brother took a look around the market, and they decided that this would be worth investing in.
Brazil
is one of the most highly professional countries when it comes to franchising. And I believe that the Brazilian entrepreneurial spirit is acting as a good example for this sector in other countries as well. We Brazilians enjoy doing business. We're always looking for new ideas and trying to grow and develop.
Com isso, a gente vai tendo o aparecimento de marcas cada vez
That galvanizes the national economy and leads to creating new markets with ever stronger concepts that are held in high regard and are based on the franchise model.
We turn our attention now to Qatar, a place often associated with wealth and luxury. Qatar is indeed one of the richest states in the Gulf region. But with that prosperity has come the trappings of modern Western societies, including fast food and sugary drinks. In Qatar, that's taken a bite out of traditional, healthier eating habits. The small Arab state now has one of the highest obesity rates in the world, and that's led to a sharp increase in diabetes. Mary Ferreira from UNTV has more on the Gulf nation's sweet epidemic.
Qatar's bounty of wealth has transformed the lives of many from a nomadic lifestyle to one of luxury and leisure. But this shift in lifestyle has come at a significant price, one that's affecting the health of some 215,000 people.
I used to be able to walk to the car without any difficulty. Now I have to use a wheelchair.
Abdul Razak was 25 years old when he was diagnosed with diabetes, a condition in which there are high levels of sugar in the blood. Known as the silent killer, a staggering 20% of the nation's population is living with the disease. Manal Musallam is a doctor at Qatar's largest medical institution, Hamad Medical Corporation.
I can say there is no any family without diabetic patients in Qatar.
According to the World Health Organization, nearly 350 million people worldwide, almost 5% of the world's population, are living with the disease. It's estimated that this number could double within the next 20 years. Experts blame the rise partially on genetics. But sedentary lifestyles and skyrocketing obesity rates also contribute to the problem.
Before, the foods in Gulf area was only mostly rice and meat. Now there is so many variety of the foods.
Fast food chains now dot the landscape across the Gulf region.
The people, they like the junk food.
Once a talented sportsman, at 52, Abdul Razak is now confined to his home, leaving only to go to the hospital for frequent medical checks and treatment. He's also relegated to a lifetime of prescription medications, injections, and constant monitoring of his blood sugar levels. Despite his compliance, the disease is rapidly claiming different parts of his body.
I can't see with my left eye.
Now his kidneys are failing. Abdul Razak relies on his son to take him to the hospital 3 times a week. His physician, Dr. Adal Shaban, says dialysis is keeping him alive.
I think his health improved significantly since he started dialysis.
Alarmed by the rapid spread of the disease, the Qatari government is working with international partners to find a cure. And through genetic analysis, it hopes to determine a person's likelihood of developing the disease. And while there is hope for the future, for now, Abdul Razak is on a waiting list for a kidney transplant. Without this operation, his chances of survival remain slim.
Now, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. That's a long-standing wedding tradition you may have heard of before. They're things that brides in some parts of the world make sure to have on their special day for luck and good fortune. In Bangladesh, weddings are wildly colorful affairs, and there, Hindu brides can't do without a pair of bangles made of conch shells. It's a sacred tradition that's been carried on for generations, and there's an entire industry behind producing the beautiful accessories. Sakawat Liton from ETV shows us more.
A wedding is a ceremony that joins 2 people in marriage. And while traditions and customs may vary between cultures, religions, and countries, the bride and groom generally mark the occasion by celebrating with family and friends. Bengali weddings are especially elaborate. They include many rituals and ceremonies that can span over several days. One important element of Hindu marriage ceremonies, the bride's conch bangles. According to tradition, the conch bangles slipped onto the bride's arms during the ceremony have the same significance as a wedding ring worn by bridal couples in other cultures. In a village in the Natura district of Bangladesh, around 100 families have been earning a living for generations making these traditional conch bangles.
We're carrying on the business passed down to us by our grandparents and parents. We don't own any land, so this provides us with a livelihood. We get the conch shells from the Khulna district. We know the wholesalers there, and if we buy in bulk, they'll pre-cut the shells into pieces for us. Then we file and smooth them. Once they have the proper shape, we clean and polish them and sell them in the villages.
The conch shells from which the bangles are made are imported from other countries. Local entrepreneurs manage the initial processing. The craftsmen procure the other materials from various parts of the country.
We import our conch shells from Sri Lanka by the way of Chittagong. We have cutting machines in our homes. I'm a wholesaler. I cut the large shells into slices and then sell them in North Bengal.
The people who work in this industry are referred to as shankari. The work begins early and is shared by nearly all the men and women in the village. Some are responsible for washing the rough-cut pieces. Others polish them with special chemicals and conch dust. Later, they may be engraved with delicate patterns before receiving a final finish.
We often create patterns ourselves. We think up our own designs. But of course, that requires a fair amount of time. If we copy an existing pattern, one that's been done before, we can usually finish a bangle in just a half an hour.
The conch bangles are always made in pairs and are available in many different sizes. Some of the finished bangles are purchased by small business owners who then sell them at markets. Others are sold door to door. They're also exported to countries like India, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and Nepal.
One bangle can cost anywhere from 50 to 350 taka, which is about 50 cents to 3.5 euros. Some have gold coatings, but those are quite expensive. Only wealthier people can afford them. Ordinary people buy the simpler ones.
We get the conches from Noyapara. They're cut into pieces and then finished by craftsmen and sold in different districts like Rangpur and Dinajpur. The bangles I sell cost between 50 and 150 taka.
As long as there are weddings, there'll be a livelihood for the Sankaris of Bagatipara.
Wade Williams is considered Liberia's most powerful female journalist. She's the chief editor at a major Liberian news outlet, and she's dedicated her career to writing about the plight of girls and women in her native country. Even though Liberia has a female president, most women there are faced with extreme adversity, from poverty to poor education. Now, thanks to Wade Williams, some of their struggles have come to light. And now she's received the 2013 German Development Media Award in recognition of her work. Oliver Moyen has more about the journalist and one of the stories she shared.
Mercy woman sits under the burning afternoon sun next to a mountain of rocks known as the Rock Hole. She has a scarf tied around her head to protect her from the harsh rays and a hammer in her hand ready to break rocks.
Wade Williams reads aloud from the article that brought her to Berlin to collect the German Development Media Award.
Liberian women who live at the bottom of the societal chain.
She's the current newsroom chief for Front Page Africa in Monrovia, making her the highest placed female editor in Liberia. She specializes in controversy. She's interviewed fearsome warlords, condemned discrimination against homosexuals, and reported on infibulation, or female genital mutilation.
To be able to thrive as a female editor in Liberia, as even a female media practitioner who's sort of higher up in the hierarchy, is really difficult. But I don't know of any other female editor of a newspaper in Liberia, except Wade Williams.
Williams has made her way in a traditionally male-dominated society, even braving death threats. Liberia is by no means accustomed to women standing up for their rights so aggressively. She does this for women like Mercy. When the 18-year-old isn't working in the quarry or taking care of others, she goes to school. She wants to graduate from secondary school. The Civil War and her family's grinding poverty kept her out of school for some years. Now Mercy's in 7th grade. She told Wade Williams that she gets 35 Liberian dollars, or about 40 cents per bucket of rocks. On a good day, she can fill 7 buckets. She's been doing this for 5 years now. Mercy says she uses the money to pay her school fees. She even has a bit left over for food and clothing. Like so many others, Mercy and her parents moved to the city in search of work, driven by the country's near 85% unemployment. The city's growing economy promised a better life.
Until you get the right people, you know, to take the courage, you know, to tell these stories and expose, you know, the ills in society, the society will continue to degenerate. And we saw what we had over 10 years. We saw the kind of bloodshed that we had. So telling these stories, and when policymakers take action, then you know that you've done something.
Years of civil war have left at least 250,000 people dead and more than 1 million displaced. The militias and political parties fighting for ethnic supremacy and control of resources drove Liberia to the brink of ruin. After the election of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first female president and later Nobel laureate, things gradually started looking up, with debt relief, steadily increasing foreign investment and state revenues. But corruption and joblessness remain. Women are especially hard hit.
Mercy is one of many Liberian women who live at the bottom of the societal chain. Despite the fact that Liberia has a female president, heralded for promoting women's rights and welfare, life for women is particularly hard.
Williams doesn't mince words in her articles. She boldly criticizes social injustices. She wants to see her country regain its former strength and has concrete ideas for change, especially for the younger generation. This is precisely why the jury chose Wade Williams for the 2013 German Development Media Awards in the Africa category.
And we should let you know that Wade's story on Mercy sparked reactions around Liberia and beyond. Several people have even offered to help pay for Mercy's education. Now, finally today, some proof that age is merely a number. It's important to stay vital and healthy into old age, and exercise is a key part of making that happen. In our next story, we meet an unusual cheerleading squad made up of women in their golden years. They found a great way to keep fit, socialize, and have fun. And they've even made a name for themselves across their native Bulgaria. Chernomor TV's Kirill Asparuhov brings us this story.
Some 5 years ago, veteran athletes in Bulgaria's Black Sea port of Varna started a cheerleading team, complete with pom-poms, for women aged 60 to 85, and called it the Health Sports Club. What is the aim of the Health Sports Club? What do the girls in their golden years do in the club?
We have a lot of fun here. It's a meaningful way for us to spend our time, especially when there's nothing else to fill it. It also gives us an opportunity to socialize and do something good for ourselves and the community. In addition to the physical benefit we get, we also perform at various sporting events. We kick off tournaments and other things with our routines. But first and foremost, it's great fun to be a grand cheerleader.
And it's good for body and soul.
Yes, exactly, both body and soul. Our sports club is named Health because what we do benefits our health.
How did you come to this club?
I was invited to join by Zashka Kueva, who I've known for 20 years. I've never regretted it, not for a moment. I'm glad.
Why is that?
First of all, I really enjoy exercising 3 times a week. That keeps me fit. And secondly, thanks to the club, my life is enhanced, both socially and culturally. I learn about the events taking place in Varna. Now, thanks to the club, I can participate in them. And last but not least, I've made good friends in the club, people I'm glad to know.
How about the pain?
Exercise alleviates pain. Calisthenics and yoga, it keeps your joints fit.
Do you have advice for others your age who haven't yet joined the club?
Get going. Life is short.
What does your family think of your hobby?
They're very supportive.
Have you taken part in events in other Bulgarian towns?
Yes, it's great. Those events give us an opportunity to visit major cultural and historical centers around the country.
When people think of the elderly, they often imagine a bottle of water and a pile of pills on the nightstand. What's on your nightstand?
There's a bottle of water, but there are no pills.
Do you still read books?
Of course I do.
And do you watch movies?
Yes, I watch movies and read books. Here at the club, we often discuss movies, talk about the stories and characters in them. I feel alive here. I can participate in life, and that's invigorating.
At the regional tournament of clubs for health and longevity in Razgrad, Bulgaria, 21 teams from Bulgaria's largest cities took part. Thanks to their top-notch performance, Varna's team stood out. That's one reason Varna's grand cheerleaders are asked to open major sporting events, like the 3rd tournament for the Varna's Seniors Cup organized by Cherno TV, an international football tournament, and an annual volleyball tournament. At the end of the year, the grand cheerleaders will be performing at the National Championship in Primorsko, the National Gymnastic Championships in Pleven, and the Leaves of Memories Festival. Grand cheerleaders, a great way for golden girls to stay active and healthy.
Well, that's all for this edition of World Stories. From us, our reporters and partner stations around the world, thanks for watching. If you'd like to watch other episodes, head to our website. That's dw.de/World Stories. We'll leave you with this week's Picks of the World. See you next time with more World Stories.